We're doing a nighttime review of the Mini Cooper S Hardtop Coupe, coming in around $38,000 fully loaded for this 2024 model. Now for 2025, there's a whole new redesign, including an electric Mini Cooper, fully battery electric. That will be coming down the hatch here on the channel, but should you be looking at a 2024 model, and how does this stack up against something like the Acura Integra? Today we'll find out. Assembled in Oxford, but the engine transmission technology is BMW. BMW's owned Mini for a couple decades at this point, maybe even closer to 3 decades. And you can tell when we start driving it, but from the outside to the inside, it still has that incredible old Mini charm. Just like a BMW, double pull to open the hood. Headlight cutouts in the hood underneath is a 2-liter turbo. About 189 horsepower, 207 pound-feet of torque, mated to a 7-speed DCT. Now, if you want a manual transmission, 2024 might be your last year to get a manual on the Mini Cooper. It sounds sacrilege, but it's true. And actually, this is the first Mini Cooper I've driven since maybe a 2016 S with a manual, and that was such a fun car to drive. I remember the manual transmission on it being very video game-like, super easy to drive. Now, the non-S's have a 3-cylinder turbo, but for 2025, they're just having the 4-cylinder turbo detuned, and then you'll have the S model with even more horsepower than we have here, maybe about 10 more horsepower or so. But the real deal in the 2025 is that replacing the 3-cylinder turbo, the base model now has quite a bit more power than the outgoing base model. So there's gonna be plenty of torque and acceleration, even in the non-S models, and that hood closes very, very nicely. Love the hood scoop, and that might be something the 25s might be missing if I remember correctly. The hood scoop could be gone on the 2025. Let's go ahead and turn on the turn indicators because, well, the headlights are just so darn cute. I want to see what it looks like on the outside when I'm turning. That is absolutely fantastic. The whole silver ring on the outside turns into a golden ring. Absolutely beautiful. Not only that, the S badge on the side here lights up very, very nicely. Very easy to see from the side, and that's the thing. The Mini Cooper, gosh, compared to something like the Integra, which again, it's in the same price point, it's a premium vehicle, and you can get this in the coupe unlike the Integra. To me, this has so much more style, so much more class. Now, a lot of people might not double look at a Mini on the road, right? But I think after seeing this, it's got so much more character than just about any other vehicle that you see on the road. Going to the back here, we have the British racing flag rear taillights that look awesome. I like these. I think these are 18-inch wheels. Let's go ahead and look closer. Now this wheel design, these 18s, this will change for 2025, but I like the style, honestly. And then coming to the back, of course, we have that dual tip exhaust that looks so nice here. Very fantastic. Mini Cooper from the back looks sporty, looks fun to drive, looks ready to go, which I'm ready to start driving it. But let's go ahead and take a peek on the inside first. And getting into the back seat, well, there we go. There's a little lever back here. My kids, I picked up 3 of my kids from school, and it was a tight fit, but I mean, they were comfortable back there. Put a couple boosters, only 1 cup holder. There's no vents back there. There's not a lot. At least I have some speakers. Actually, there's a cup holder on each side, and I'm not going to sit back there, but it is good for little kids, I would say. And even for $38K, look, we don't, even though we have a thigh extender, we don't have power seats. And that means we also don't have memory seats, which could be a deal breaker for you guys. So this vehicle, it's not the most convenient if you're swapping drivers a lot. Also, I want to show you the cargo real quick. Mini blacked out Mini logo there, looks awesome. Little tonneau cover back here. What do you expect? It's a Mini Cooper. A little bit of underfloor storage, but the real secret is when you start folding down the seats, right? That's when you're going to get the most out of this vehicle. Yeah, that second row of seats is really just for little kids, I would say. I couldn't imagine putting a rear-facing seat back there unless you never have to have someone up in that front right seat. But let's see if the seats fold down. It's very, very spacious, very versatile, I guess you could say. So let's go ahead and check out what we have here. We have some ambient lighting. in the front of the door, kind of a blue. I haven't even tried to customize it, but we have Mini Cooper S skid plate there. Let's go and turn off the turn indicator. Head-up display is standard, but as you guys can see, this head-up display does pop out of the dash, which is a cool party trick. But while you're driving, look, you can see behind the head-up display, which looks like, for me, my vision, I'm looking at the hood as well as the windshield wipers. So during the day, it would have been nice to have something behind here to black it out. You can just see how much easier it is to see if you have something back there. So to me, I would be putting like a black film back here if this is my car, so I could see the head-up display a lot clearer, especially during the day. We have this small screen here that I struggle to work with, and that's one of the biggest flaws of this vehicle is the software in here. Software in here is impossible to work with. I can't get Android Auto to work. Resetting simple things just like fuel economy is very difficult to do. All right, like it's just, there are a lot of menus, and this is BMW through and through right here. And I mean, look, when you click on fuel economy, right, wouldn't you expect fuel economy to come up? But it just takes you to the general menu, and then it's just, you know, you just feel like you're lost because that's not where you wanted to go. Also, my Android Auto doesn't work in here. You have a couple of USBs down here at the bottom. I haven't been able to get Android Auto to work. Apple CarPlay probably works, but it's just unfortunate. Let's look at these switches. These switches are so unique, and that's something that the 25 model I think gets rid of. This start-stop toggle switch here. It feels like I'm in a plane cockpit, an old British fighter plane or something. Parking sensors, traction control right here, sport modes, which I was in the sport mode there. And the rotary dials for the climate control are absolutely fantastic. AC in here is nice and cold. Again, we have some nice ambient lighting on the dash. These lights around this center screen here light up quite a bit too, which is kind of nice. Volume knob right there. But on the 25s, this whole circle is a screen, which to me is much more desirable with updated software. And that's, like I said, that's the absolute Achilles heel of this car. As we look up, there's even more of that old British racing toggles and switches for your lights. Love that. What's this light? Oh, center lights, that's very bright. And what's this? Oh, we can open up the sunroof, which I'm not going to do. So we have a double sunroof, as you guys can see. Very, very nice. The kids loved it because we were driving this in the pouring rain, and the kids were having a good time watching the rain fall from above. Last couple things, this shifter here, which I also believe is gone for 2025 model year, feels very BMW in quality, but it has a little bit more of that British character. And then going down here is all BMW rotary dial and buttons, as well as a traditional e-brake. Also inside this armrest, there's a wireless phone charger that is like spring-loaded, so it keeps your phone in there, which is quite nice. But it does kind of get in the way if you plan on using the rotary dial. Just this setup doesn't seem to be well thought out or well executed. But the strengths of the Mini are its looks, its quirks, and how it drives. So let's start driving it. All right, putting it into drive here. I would have, honestly, of course, I would have preferred to have this in a manual. I think that would have taken the fun factor to the next level. But as it stands, I'm still really happy with how this drives. And I'll compare it to the Integra automatic 2 that has the CVT as we start driving this. Okay, when you get in the Mini, it doesn't feel that small, and a big portion of that, especially in this model with this double sunroof, and I don't think we have syncing climate control here, unfortunately. You see I messed with the climate control, and the screen kind of changes to some British colors and whatnot. So I'm gonna wait for the defrost to kick in. But back to the visibility, like the windows are super upright. It feels almost like a Land Cruiser or a Defender, but in a tiny little vehicle form, because the A-pillars are very upright, or like a Jeep, you know, the windshield is very upright. The visibility around me is unbelievable. other than the B pillar. Like the windows past the B pillar are enormous. So I feel very, even though it's a smaller car, I feel like I have a great command of the road because I can see everything very, very well. So let's turn this down. Let's take it off. Yeah, no sync is kind of annoying, and maybe there is a sync through the menu, but I try to stay away from the software as much as possible. Visibility out the back is also quite good. I have a rear wiper, which is really cute and functional. And we're gonna do a 0 to 60. I'm gonna turn off, well, put it in a sport mode. And I'm gonna turn off traction control because I think that hurt our results earlier. All right, so here we go. Tires are not warm, but let's go ahead and see if we can torque brake this. Nope, no torque braking. Exhaust sounds good. 0 to 60 in 6.9. Having a manual, you would be able to much easier get a nice launch. Like I said, there's no torque braking. In fact, this might do better without a brake boost situation, because when I let off the brake there, it kind of like stumbled out of the gate. So we'll try that again here. The brakes are fantastic. Oh, super good. And go. Yeah, it does better without a brake boost. 0 to 60 in 6.3 and 0 to 100 in 6.79. Since it doesn't launch very hard, these numbers aren't really indicative of how fast this car feels. This car feels very, very torquey and it keeps pulling quite hard as you keep accelerating. Steering in here is super stiff. Oh my gosh. The gears, I feel like it's a 7-speed, right? It needs more gears to take advantage of this powertrain, in my opinion. We're gonna put it back into the mid-driving mode here. But yeah, I wish we had more gears, or it was geared just a little bit shorter. I would love for this thing to bang through the gears, and then that's why, you know, like the manual would just be more fun to drive here. This is still fun to drive, but like I said, in order to take advantage of this powertrain, you need more gears or you need shorter gearing. I don't have that here. All right, but it is quick. 0 to 60, I would say, you know, low to mid 6s is satisfactory. But the acceleration is not like the Mini's. It's not like what it's known for. A Mini's known for its quirkiness, its cute beauty to it, and most importantly, its driving dynamics. Okay, so the acceleration is just a point of that, but the steering here is absolute razor sharp. I feel like I'm in a goat cart, and I just called it a goat cart. It's early. Oh my gosh, yes. Powering out of a turn. That is exactly where the Mini is in its finest form. It is so good, so razor sharp. This has the soul of a BMW M performance car. No, it doesn't have maybe the acceleration, but the handling, the feel, the braking in here is all high-level BMW performance. And some people might think that is a detraction because it takes away from what Minis used to be. To me, it is. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I think it feels absolutely perfect here. You know, it might be a hostile takeover of the British here by the Germans. Some may see it, but when you drive this vehicle, it feels right. This has all the performance chops I would want, except, you know, like I mentioned, the issues with the transmission. And the transmission's great. It shifts quick. It's responsive. Check this out. Like, oh my gosh. Oh, yes. This thing's an absolute joy to drive. Now, let's talk about the lights real quick, then I'll compare it to something like an Integra, which this competes directly against. Oh my goodness. High beams. I'm seeing like 30 feet up into the trees. That's unreal. The low beams are quite good too, very uniform, about 100 yards of visibility, and they just kind of fade out. A lot of other headlight systems, they will like just have like a hard cutoff of where they turn off. This is a very soft, gradual gradient to the black, which is quite relaxing. And then the brights are insanely bright, and they go absurdly high. So A+ on the lighting system here, and I don't think there's like a adaptive front lights or anything like that, but wow, well done BMW and Mini with the headlight system here. Not only does it look fantastic from the outside, but they operate and are functionally fantastic. Okay, so how does the BMW heart in a British car work against a Japanese designed car that's built in America, which is the Integra? Well, manual to manual, I can't really compare because I haven't driven the manual version of this in 2024 anyways, but I bet they would compare quite nicely. This, in the 7-speed DCT that this has, is not even, there's no competition against the Integra in terms of how they drive. This is so much more performance oriented. That CVT kills any sort of performance and enthusiasm in the Integra. However, the Integra has practicality on its side. Some might say reliability, but I don't even know. Do we know the reliability of the Integra quite yet? I don't think so. So this vehicle I'd be picking every single time over the Integra. I can't believe I'm saying that, but it has it has 3 doors. It has so much more charm and character to it. Oh my gosh. I'm so much more happy driving this compared to an Integra CVT. It's a wonderful car to drive. Now the Integra does the small things better, like practicality and software. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto is all wireless there. The touchscreen is better, all that stuff. But if like driving dynamics and driver engagement is the most important thing to you, the Mini wins every single time. If you really cherish the cutesy looks of the Mini, which I do, I'm smitten by it. Even though, you know, this generation may not be the best looking generation of Mini Cooper, I feel like they've since like the mid 2010s, they've gotten slightly worse looking. Oh man, this thing it's just so good. It sounds good too. But yeah, I just want more power. The thing is, yes, it's front wheel drive like the Integra. Would have been great to have all-wheel drive, I guess so. But that would have added weight to this vehicle, something that the Integra Type S, which is not a competitor to this car at all, the Integra Type S. Maybe the John Cooper Works would be, but the Integra Type S still has like 100 more horsepower than that, so still not a direct comparison. But I forgot what I was going to say. All-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive would be a godsend here, but hey, I think front-wheel drive is good enough, and it doesn't take away from how fun this car is to drive. It does present a little bit of a traction issue, but this powertrain doesn't really overwhelm the front tires at any given moment, especially since you can't brake boost this thing to launch it hard anyways. Not that I know of. You do have radar cruise control in here. I mean, these controls on the steering wheel, honestly, they're a bit confusing for me, and I'm in a ton of cars because I'm expecting these buttons to manipulate this screen behind the steering wheel, and none of them do to my experience. Paddle shifters in here, I haven't even played with them. Let's go ahead and play with them. There's a biker here. There's no sort of noticeable engine braking here. A little bit. the smallest amount of engine braking when you downshift into second gear there. But let's go. Gosh, so why are people riding their bikes at night? It's so dangerous. So dangerous. All right, let's go. Oh my gosh, like what? That is that guy who just turned. Oh my goodness. Bikers, man. Why are they riding at night? So I was taking a right there and another biker pulled up to the right side of my vehicle, which there's not a bike lane on the right side of a turning lane, a dedicated turning lane. So he pulled on the right side of my vehicle, and if I turned too sharply there, he would have just got smacked. He was literally in my window. Anyways, I don't understand bikers risking their lives to ride bikes. Anyways, if I offended any bikers on the channel, I apologize. But yes, I just had like 2 heart attacks there because I couldn't see 2 bikers. I have good night vision. One biker was swallowed up by lights, headlights and whatnot. Another biker was, well, he ghosted around me. So anyways, I'll see you guys in the comments about bikers. It's one thing during the day when you can actually see them at night. I don't care what kind of lights you're wearing. You're just not visible. All right, so let's go ahead and get on the brakes here and end this car review. No bikers were harmed during the recording of this video. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness gracious. It's fantastic. I want this in a manual, but the 7-speed here is quite good. Yes, much better car than the Integra in terms of driving dynamics. The Integra does other things better, all right? But unless you get the Integra in the manual, I can't recommend it over this Mini. Thank you guys for watching. Am I crazy for liking this over the CVT automatic, more practical, I guess you say, Integra? I don't think so. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace. Oof, goodness. Yes.